Winter 1941. Eastern Front. German commanders faced an impossible situation. Their armies were freezing, supplies couldn't reach them, soldiers were falling in the snow. Every general wanted to pull back, save the troops, regroup for spring. Hitler said no. One commander begged him directly and got a shocking response. Another defied orders and faced severe consequences. And a third general's secret warning revealed the truth nobody wanted to hear. But what they said next changed everything. The Frozen Nightmare. December 1941. The Eastern Front was a frozen nightmare. German forces had pushed deep into Soviet territory. They thought they would win quickly. They were wrong. Winter came early that year. Temperatures dropped to -40 degrees. Soldiers didn't have proper winter clothing. Their equipment stopped working. Tanks wouldn't start. Guns froze solid. Trucks broke down on icy roads. Supply lines stretched too thin. Food became scarce. Medicine ran out. Frostbite claimed thousands of soldiers. And then the Soviets counterattacked. Fresh troops appeared from Siberia. They were trained for winter combat. They wore thick coats and warm boots. German soldiers froze in their summer uniforms. The situation turned desperate fast. Field commanders saw what was happening. They needed to pull back, retreat to defensive positions, save their armies from complete destruction. It was the only logical choice. But Hitler had a different idea. He issued a direct order from his headquarters far away. That order would doom thousands of men. The Standfast Order. No retreat, not one step back. That was Hitler's order. He believed retreating showed weakness. He thought willpower alone could win battles. He was wrong, but he was the supreme commander. His word was law. German generals received this order with disbelief. They were experienced military men. They understood tactics. They knew when to advance and when to fall back. Every military textbook said the same thing. When surrounded and outnumbered, you retreat. You save your forces. You fight another day. Hitler disagreed. He demanded every position be held, no matter the cost. Soldiers were ordered to dig in and defend, even when surrounded, even when cut off from supplies, even when facing certain elimination. Field Marshal Fedor von Bock commanded Army Group Center. His forces were in the worst position. Soviet troops surrounded several of his divisions. His men were freezing. They were starving. They desperately needed to withdraw. Von Bock decided to speak directly to Hitler. What he said would shock everyone. Von Bock's plea. Von Bock called Hitler's headquarters. He explained the situation clearly. His troops were in danger. The Soviet forces were closing in. His men needed to retreat to better positions. It was simple military logic. Hitler refused to listen. "Hold your ground," Hitler told him. "Victory comes through will, not retreat." Von Bock tried again. He described the conditions, the freezing temperatures, the lack of supplies, the mounting casualties. He begged for permission to pull back. Hitler's response was harsh. "Any commander who retreats will be removed from command." Von Bock couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was one of Germany's most experienced field marshals. He had led successful campaigns across Europe. Now he was being threatened for suggesting basic military strategy. He hung up the phone.
His officers waited for orders. Von Bock faced an impossible choice: obey Hitler and watch his men perish, or disobey and face severe consequences. Another general was facing the same decision, but he chose a different path. Guderian's defiance. General Heinz Guderian commanded panzer divisions near Moscow. He was Germany's top tank commander. His troops called him Fast Heinz because of his aggressive tactics. But now his tanks were frozen. His soldiers were trapped in exposed positions. Guderian saw the situation clearly. His men would perish if they stayed. He made a decision. He ordered a tactical withdrawal. His divisions pulled back to defensive positions. They saved themselves from encirclement. Then he reported what he had done to headquarters. Hitler was furious. "You disobeyed direct orders," Hitler told him during a heated phone call. Guderian stood firm. "I saved my men from needless elimination," he replied. The argument continued for hours. Guderian refused to back down. He explained his reasoning. He defended his decision. He said any competent commander would have done the same. Hitler ended the conversation with a threat. Within days, Guderian was removed from command, dismissed, sent home in disgrace. His military career appeared to be over. But he wasn't the only one who saw the truth.
The secret warning. General Ludwig Beck had already resigned years earlier. He quit in 1938 because he disagreed with Hitler's aggressive plans. But he still had contacts within the military. He heard what was happening on the Eastern Front. Beck wrote a secret memo. He sent it to other generals he trusted. The memo was blunt. It warned that Hitler's refusal to allow retreats would lead to disaster. It said Hitler didn't understand modern military strategy. It claimed the standfast order would result in massive losses. Leadership requires knowing when to hold and when to withdraw, Beck wrote. He warned that Hitler was making decisions based on ideology, not military reality. He predicted the Eastern Front would become a meat grinder. Divisions would be surrounded and eliminated because they couldn't retreat. His warning proved accurate. Throughout that winter, entire divisions became trapped. Thousands of soldiers were lost defending positions that couldn't be held. The standfast order caused exactly what Beck predicted. But something unexpected happened too. The standfast order did prevent total collapse. Some historians now believe Hitler's stubbornness accidentally helped in certain situations. When units held their ground, they created strong points. These positions slowed the Soviet advance. They bought time for other units to regroup. The German army didn't completely fall apart. If mass retreats had begun, panic might have spread. Units might have broken down completely. The entire Eastern Front could have collapsed. So Hitler's order, while costly, prevented total disaster. But the price was enormous. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers suffered through that winter. Many didn't survive. Those who did carried physical and mental scars. Frostbite, starvation, trauma from watching comrades fall. German generals learned a hard lesson that winter. Hitler would not tolerate military advice that contradicted his beliefs. Commanders who retreated faced removal. Commanders who objected faced consequences. The military chain of command had broken down. One general's fate demonstrated this more than any other. What happened to him became a warning to all. The price of disobedience. Field Marshal von Rundstedt commanded forces in the south. He was Germany's most senior officer, respected, experienced. In December 1941, he also wanted to retreat. His forces were overextended. He requested permission to pull back. Hitler refused. Von Rundstedt made his decision. He ordered a retreat anyway. His troops pulled back to defensible positions. The retreat saved thousands of men from encirclement. Hitler's response was immediate. Von Rundstedt was relieved of command, dismissed. One of Germany's most accomplished field marshals was sent home. The message was clear. No one was too important to replace. This created fear among remaining commanders. They saw what happened to Guderian. They saw what happened to von Rundstedt. They understood the consequences of disobedience. Many chose to follow orders even when those orders seemed wrong. The German military had always prided itself on allowing field commanders to make tactical decisions. That tradition died that winter. Hitler's control became absolute, and the long-term effects would shape the entire conflict. The final truth. The winter of 1941 changed German military strategy forever. Commanders learned that survival meant obedience. Professional military judgment became secondary to Hitler's will. This pattern continued throughout the rest of the conflict. More generals would be removed for suggesting retreats. More armies would be surrounded because they couldn't withdraw. More soldiers would be lost defending positions that couldn't be held. Von Bock's plea was ignored. Guderian's defiance ended his career temporarily. Beck's warning proved accurate, but none of it mattered. Hitler refused to retreat because he believed willpower conquered everything. The generals who spoke against this policy paid the price. Some lost their commands, some lost their careers, some lost their lives in later events. What German commanders said when Hitler refused to retreat revealed a fundamental problem. Military expertise clashed with ideological stubbornness. Professional soldiers saw military reality. Hitler saw only his vision. And when those two worldviews collided, the soldiers paid the price in the frozen snow. The German commander's reaction to Hitler's refusal to retreat exposed a critical leadership conflict during World War II. Hitler's no-retreat order had devastating impact on the German army throughout the conflict. This disagreement between German military leaders and Hitler's retreat decision marked a turning point. Professional judgment clashed with ideological stubbornness. the commanders who challenged Hitler and German commanders' disagreement shaped the entire Eastern Front campaign and revealed how political control undermined military expertise.